Forest Service and USDA. We have Stacy, Kevin, and Shelley.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll do pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So. Guess roll call, we all know each other, I guess, huh? It's good, nice to have a full board. Who's guest on there?
That's Stacy. Stacy's and has the iPhone 16, then we have Shelley and then Kevin Sheridan from BLM.
Okay, Kevin from BLM, okay. Thank you. Past meeting minutes are online, right?
They are not online. We're having some website, stuff that we're going through right now.
Okay.
So hopefully get that resolved in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
What we're doing is we're in the process of creating a YouTube channel actually for all of the audio recording. Because the audio is taking up too much space online. So it'll just have a link to that channel. So, but I do have the minutes if anyone wants them.
I'd like to see them in print anyway. I mean, if we could continue doing that too.
Yes, I'm good with that. At least the outline of it.
Yeah, and it is included in the board packet.
That's what I noticed.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Sorry for being late. Reached everything today. So action items, the budget, Christian?
Yes, we can go through that right now. You guys want to look, it's in the packet. We have our memo here and then make sure we do also have the line items. Right here, this is the weed expenditure control expenditure details right here. And then on the next page, you will find the CIP list, which is also CIP stands for Capital Improvement Plan. So we'll go ahead and start with personnel. We just sort of have the highlights of the budget season coming up. Personnel is going to increase by 11%, proposed 11% from fiscal year 25. This includes a 2.13% matrix adjustment, which we call a COLA or cost of living adjustment. Step increases, we had HR went through our seasonal sprayers as well as our weed planner and did a market analysis on them, and they got a bump in pay, so they got grade increases to those, so we had to adjust for those. Longevity, and then $150 per month per employee increase to health insurance premiums. So that's where you're seeing the 11% increase for fiscal year 26. This next bullet item is something that we've been working on and have been thinking about. It is reallocating 2 of our seasonal sprayers to give more hours to our weed management planner and our public works administrative assistant across the way. We have, so I guess in simple terms is we're looking at moving from 8 seasonal sprayers to 6 seasonal sprayers. And then increase Alex, our weed planner's hours for the year to help with us.
Is he halftime right now?
Yeah, he is, I would 2/3 is probably closer to where he.
0.6.
Yeah, it's about 2/3, excuse me. So, we've thoroughly thought through this. Our weed district is growing. There's a lot of administrative stuff that we've been working on. We've also been having some problems, I wouldn't say problems, but it's really hard to get seasonal employees and keep them on throughout the year. The last couple of years, I've had some seasonals that we went through the hiring process, and then about a month in, they go on to something else, which is fine, but then I'm trying to recruit 90-day seasonals to help replace them. But we do believe that reallocating these 2 seasonal sprayers, so that we can have Alex for longer seasons and be able to improve our level of service within the district. We have many projects earlier in the spring and late in the fall that we don't have staff to really help me out, and I sort of become the only person here, and it would be nice to have Alex on earlier and later in the season. Weather, and like I said, we don't always get seasonal employees that can stick around for 5 or 6 months. A lot of times it's the younger crowd, and they're here for about 3.5 months, and then they're gone to go back to school. So manpower for the full actual spray season is just not there.
Does this increase take Alex to what percent? What would it take it to?
Chairman, Christian, it'll take it to about 0.95. This would be fiscal year 25 of what we're allowed to do. And then our recommendation would be to try to put the request into fiscal year 26 budget for the commissioners to consider going the full amount of the increase of the FTE. So I'm only allowed to allocate the positions that I'm authorized currently with my FTE count. I can't grow my FTE count regardless if it's a budget savings. So it would be a request for an FTE increase next fiscal year, but countywide, that's going to be a tough sell. So it's going to get us closer to the ultimate goal, but it will also be something we will pitch forward to the commissioners. But this will bring them up more. So it might be just about a month break in service in the season based upon those hours that are authorized. Closer, get us
them up to a
closer.
0.91,
I think it is.
0.91.
Mhm.
So
And then
almost there. So we'd be asking for like a 0.09 to make him full-time.
To make him full-time. Okay.
Yeah.
And you do that in 26.
That'll be our 26 request. If you guys are comfortable with this as a board now, we'll look at trying to get that request for the remainder part of this 25 if possible.
Because my question is, if we do wait, Alex is super helpful and become a critical member of the weed control team. What's the risk of him pursuing other avenues if it is until 26 that he gets full-time status? I mean, is it something we should jump on now if we're worried about losing him?
I guess I can't speak to Alex, but he's worked at his current role at 0.6, and this would allow us within our FTEs to get him up to at least a 0.9. So
We would be better in that direction.
we'd be
Sure.
working closer.
Yeah, and I don't have, regardless if he had another job offer now and he said, I'll stay if it's full-time, I wouldn't even be able to do that until the earliest would be July based upon Board of County Commissioners approval. So we're trying to work within the means that we have within Public Works,
Mhm.
my FTE count within the whole department.
Sure.
And looking to see where I had I can't even use vacancy savings. I have to really just totally discontinue use of one FTE and reauthorize it somewhere else. And that's why the idea came to, we have a hard time filling the seasonal employees. What is that? Where do we still need that support? And that's where this reallocation of, and 2 seasonal employees is about 0.635 of an FTE. And so that's the amount that I have that can
Gotcha.
fluctuate to those other positions to make one full-time and make one, get us a little bit closer on the other one.
Okay.
I mean, go ahead.
I just had a question on your seasonal employees. So are they basically responsible for all the public roads that you contracted out? And so in bringing them down to 6, you still got plenty, you've already figured it out, they can cover everything if the weather cooperates?
So yeah, during the season where we have the seasonal employees, we would be able to really focus on our duties as a county, as a weed division, to work on getting our roads and our projects done. Having Alex on earlier is what would help us with other of those other special projects that I can't get to because we do all the other stuff. Having Alex on earlier and later is, in my opinion, it's an invaluable thing for me.
And
Yeah. There's some projects I just can't do, and there's just not enough. We don't have enough people down here to help me when September ends and all the seasonals are gone and stuff. So, I mean, Alex is worth 2 seasonal sprayers, even just increasing them by 0.3. His knowledge is invaluable. He helps out with all of our inspection, our non-compliance, our 5-year management plan, our education, our greenhouse. It'd be nice to have some of his expertise towards some of the grant stuff that sort of gets thrown at us, sort of right in the midst of some of that too. So it's a benefit to us, and we can grow our program in a lot of ways with him here. So to have him at a 0.9 is, and almost there, I think is a good thing.
And Chairman, just to add on, we've talked out also internally that if the weather, depending upon the weather, if it looks like it's getting behind on what we need to do for county road spraying and county lands, Christian and Alex can take a team and jump out there as well. So they're both would be certified sprayers. And so in the summer season, if we needed to get more sprayers out there, we could still get back to the 4 teams with Alex and Christian. Taking one
Yeah,
of the
you still have
sprayers
me and Alex
Mhm.
to do that.
Mhm.
But in the end, we do have like a lot of projects, like hydro seeding, for example. That's a good way for us to bring in some funding for the weed division, and I sort of need my partner. I need my hydro seeding partner to do some of those projects. I mean, I guess we could all get together here and have a hydro seeding project out at the landfill, but Alex is, I rely a lot on Alex, and he helps me out a lot. We tag team a lot of stuff, and to have him here longer is a benefit to all of us here.
So Jenny, what would you need from us then? Because if you're talking the 26 budget, right?
Yeah, which is what this is. So when Christian gets done talking about the rest of it, you guys need to agree with this proposal for 26 as a board, and then that will get put into our budget presentation that the Noxious Weed District board also recommended this budget. And then we will present that to the commission at the end of May.
Okay.
And we'll also let you guys know when that schedule is for the weed district budget. And if you wanted to come and testify during public comment to the commission based upon this proposal, you guys could be free to do that as well.
Okay.
Because that's open to the public to attend those meetings and provide input during those presentations.
You got any questions?
I have a question. So, okay, going forward, would we always only have 6 sprayers, or is there going forward the possibility of adding 1 or 2 sprayers later down the road, say in fiscal 28 or something like that?
Yeah, it just depends upon the direction from the administration of the county and the Board of County Commissioners. Right now, we're told the status quo on the budget, so we try to keep it reasonably within the cash flow of keeping the balanced budget. We'll have an increased request that may or may not get approved. And then in future fiscal years, if the workload increases or the county grows, or it looks like staffing, we need more staff to provide assistance. We could put in a request to ask for more positions if there's, and the benefit would be if there's a way to fund those positions that it's not necessarily general fund. They get looked upon differently than if it's a general fund request. And so the Noxious Weed District in your guys' budget is predominantly a general fund request versus some of the cost savings and the reimbursements that we get through Christian had mentioned. But
Okay.
these increased requests are general fund increased requests, which are more of a challenge for the commissioners.
Just a question for you. So if the weed district were able to get like AmeriCorps kids, do they count as an FTE?
No. Yeah, no, I don't think they do. We have the ability to do those as volunteer. What we do need to have in the budget though is the indirect cost of the computer, the phones, the rent, the allocation of the office space
Okay.
in the budget for those positions.
Cause that's a possibility that we
Yeah.
could look at, is trying to bring in a couple of AmeriCorps kids.
Yep. And then space, we're also pretty challenged down here on
Yeah.
space to put people.
I was thinking more for summertime and some help with the grants before they go, so.
Yep.
Okay, something we can look at then. Okay,
I have one more question.
Yep.
So how does, the Montana Conservation Corps enter into that?
yeah, that's what I was just talking about.
Oh, yeah, oh,
That's all the AmeriCorps kids, people, I guess they're not real kids, but people. So what happens is we put in an application to have a couple of them come here. And that application gets looked at through their process. And then if they think it's a good fit for some of their people, then they will allow us to do that, but we have to pay for them. But that's where we could use some of the trust fund dollars and some of that other stuff.
so I didn't understand that AmeriCorps and the Montana
thing.
Coast.
Yeah.
That were the same deal. So.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions on personnel? Okay, we'll move on to operations and maintenance. We are only seeing a 1% increase from fiscal year 25 to 26. Within our minor equipment, it includes $4,830, Part of that is an ergonomic stool, trailer dolly. That just to let you know, a trailer dolly is for what it says, it's a dolly where we can hook it up to the 2-inch ball. And so we can move our trailers, our rental trailers around and wash them and put them back without using a buggy or the forklift or a pickup truck. Just for ease and safety. Pressure washer for $500, and then we are looking at getting cell phone boosters for all the trucks instead of CB radios. Or CB radios aren't like the ones in the sheriff's car or in all the road department stuff. They're the more like oversized handheld radio. So cell phone boosters to help with safety. We started doing that in the new trucks we've been ordering, is putting cell phone boosters in them, and they seems to work really good. And that's who's the Capital Communications has sort of just said that that's sort of the way to go these days is cell phone boosters. So that's sort of where we're going. And then our standard unanticipated equipment replacements for $1,500. We always have that in there for things that go awry that aren't budgeted for. We also added $100 for the MWCA Southwest area dues. We added $500 for vehicle and equipment washes. Increased travel and training by $1,525. There was an increase to the janitory from $5,410 to $8,574. And then our community projects have been the same for the last at least 4 or 5 years at $11,500, which includes our countywide cost share program at $10,000. Jim Darcy and East Helena Middle School Egg Days at 500. Our Sun River Watershed Group at 500, and then our Rocky Mountain Front, $500. Any questions on operations and maintenance? We do, and then here is in our sheets, we do have a detailed list of all the line items. If you have any questions or concerns.
So how does how has the cost share program ran?
How's it
Are you
been doing?
expending it?
Yeah, we got 400, we expended $400 this last year, and then we've got a lot of inquiries, and we have quite a few 5-year management plans
On that?
that,
Okay.
that people have put in for because they're wanting to do that. One of the big things that people are wanting to do is get a 5-year management plan so that they can use Rejuvra for cheatgrass control on some of their small acreage, because Rejuvra is not a cheap herbicide. So I'm hoping we've had a half a dozen inquiries on that and people working on getting weed management plans submitted for those.
Yes.
Any other questions on operation and maintenance?
Question on the chemical and medical supplies, there's
Yeah.
had quite a fluctuation over there.
Which line item is that?
22,
2220. Oh, we've put in $20,000, and that's what we've expended through the years at that line item. So some years we've had to buy more herbicide than others, some's carried over. So that's why it sort of fluctuates. It sort of depends on what we're doing, and what projects we have going on.
The Forest Service a couple of years.
Yeah, then the Forest Service gave us some herbicide too to hand out and use next to their stuff, so. Yeah. So that's why you see the fluctuation there, Commissioner.
Okay.
But it's always sort of been that standard $20,000 in that line item. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, any online?
They're all muted.
Okay, fixed charges is looking like an estimated 6.5% increase in our fixed charges, which is what's included in those is the insurance and our technology. In there, so we're seeing an increase in our IT contributions. There, and then insurance, and then as you can see on the top part, the insurance has sort of gone up for everybody too. We have no questions on that. We can move to capital. Our capital one, which is has its own little sheet. It's our it's the one that looks like this. So everybody knows. This is our capital improvement plan. And we are looking at increasing our contribution from 35,000 to 50,000. And we are doing this to help maintain our current fleet replacement schedule. So this is our schedule. If you guys look over here, sort of right in the middle, it says replace in year. You go down there and you can see 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. We're looking at doing that. I don't think, we were talking the other day, I don't think 50,000 is quite getting us there. But we're working on doing some things like this year. We have 2 scheduled UTV replacements. And instead of replacing both of them, we're just gonna replace one of them. So we'll sell both of them, get some of that money back from both of the machines. And that money rolls into our capital improvement plan, and we're only gonna replace it with one piece of equipment. We have quite a few of those and we don't need that much. We just don't need that many pieces of equipment for UTVs. So sort of reducing the fleet, to also help us hit that maintaining contribution as we start going through, so. If you're interested, you look over here, right under the noxious weed control, these are the items that we have listed for replacement over the years. And a lot of those, we're looking for projects or equipment that are over $25,000 to replace, so that way we're sort of saving and building this up to be able to do that. Whether that's re-roofing the shop, purchasing a new furnace for the building, or buying a new spray truck. You guys have any questions for me?
Question, how many sprayers do you have right now?
How many,
On the back of a pickup or a trailer?
we have five spray trucks right now. Two can be set up as spray trucks, but sort of like admin trucks. We actually have another truck coming here. We just had one built. And so it's worked on being built, and we'll have it here before the beginning of the season. But that truck and then our other 1 or 3/4 ton crew cab outside, they'll both be set up to have a sprayer in the back, just in case something happens or we lose other pieces of equipment. They can still be used for that. Both of those other trucks the other 2 admin trucks will be used for like hydro seeding projects, or like I said, driving around, checking out and doing field work. So we have 5 1-ton dually spray trucks. And then we have at least 3 slide-in trailers, or 3 slide-ins for the back for rentals. And then we also have 6 trailers, 6 rental trailers. And then we have a drop seeder too that we run. And then there's two old insecticide trailers that I have yet to decide what I want to do with those right now, but there's still 2 of those. But we have plus the hydro seeder, we have quite a few, and then we'll have 3 UTVs that'll have sprayers in the back of them too. We're good on equipment. It's plenty to keep you busy.
You ever rent out the insecticides?
3 times in 7 years, maybe. Is what I can probably think of off the top of my head. I'm weird, I remember that kind of stuff. I don't remember, but I think 3 times in 7 years. I mean, one's a full blown insecticide trailer. It has like 1,500 PSI to spray all the way up to the top of a 100-foot tree. The other one's a little bit, I would say, it's just a weed sprayer that they turned into an insect. Yeah. So.
Okay.
But I guess I'll say that from the report. Sorry.
Okay. Any other questions regarding the budget? Anybody online have any questions? Okay, well, I don't see a huge, I wouldn't think there'd be too much of an issue with this. It's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, hasn't deviated that much from previous years.
Yeah, and the only thing else that I can say or elaborate on is on the personnel. You're not gonna see a cost difference. If anything, you might see a cost savings by making Alex more full-time than you would. So it's not gonna affect the budget. Anything, if anything, it would be a positive.
I think we need to strive to get him full-time, that position's pretty much needed. And I think that just because of the weed district and the amount of people that we're getting in this county, I think we're gonna need that position to be full-time at some point in time. So I'm comfortable getting it moved up to the 9% or whatever it is, and then we'll go from there and see if we can't get it as a full-time position next year.
Does that, excuse me, does that kind of move everything up from the temporary up to the full-time is what you on your? Good question.
It would, we'll have to make a change with HR if the commission does approve that from a seasonal
So,
to a full-time
Full-time.
position. It'll go from seasonal to permanent. And so that would be part of the request
Yeah.
to the board as well. And then we'll have to work with HR,
so then that'll,
change all that up. I
as
mean,
far as the budget goes, it'll just kind of move that. Some of the money of the seasonal money. up
it'll
to-
move the seasonal to that
Yeah.
position, yeah. And then with the seasonals dropping off and some of it going to the public works admin. The public works admin budget gets reimbursed by 80% of the other public works budgets, like the road department and solid waste. And so that's where it will ultimately result in a cost savings to the general fund. So from a budgetary standpoint, it should look pretty attractive. If people can get behind the slight increase in the FTE amount.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so I guess I would entertain a motion to accept the budget as discussed. Along with changing Alex to a higher full-time position.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any other questions, comments?
I think I have to abstain because I have to work on it as a.
Yeah, we just have to twist your arm
Not too hard.
before you get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody online? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Good job on the budget.
Just mark that I abstained.
Yeah, we'll do it in minutes.
Appreciate that. And then you will let us know when the commission final budget hearing is, so we can, because I'll go up and testify.
Yes.
That's for sure. I mean, everybody's welcome to, but I'll go up there for sure, at least from the board perspective. Go that route. Okay. Next one is the Fund 297. Christian.
So as of, at the last meeting, we were proposed to go out and find some options for radio ads for you guys to consider for after, because I think we got 4 weeks left-ish. 4 weeks is 4 weeks left of this current contract that we're in. I'll go through, I was working with Whitney from Montana Radio. Option one, same thing as last year, 26-week contract, 30 ads per week on 99.5 the bowl. Half plane, I don't know what this means, half plane 24 hours, half plane between 5:30 and between 5:30 and 7:30. That's essentially $270 a week for 26 weeks, which we can use those, if we remember, we can use those weeks whenever we want. And we can double up on certain weeks that, like for Noxious Weed Education Week.
Sure.
The total for that 26-week package on option one is $7,020.
So basically a half a year.
Yeah, yep. And I think she was saying that these are a little bit, the prices have come down a little bit since we're not in a political ad year somewhere, and they've come down from last year. Option two is the same thing, the same 26-week contract, but on the Mighty Mo 107. Mighty Mo, that's sort of their flagship one. This is the one that they really wanted to push. Same thing, 30 ads a week, half playing 24 hours, and then the other half playing between 5:30 and 7:30 AM. Those are their, I would say those are their hot hours and with people going to work. This is $342 a week for 26 weeks at $8,892. So that was the one that she was really wanting to push. It's just for outreach. It's their most listened to radio that they have out there. We do have some other. Option 3 is another 26 week, but on the 96.3 rock station. So it'd be a different station than the Bull. But this is $144 a week for 26 weeks for $3,744. And then she did give us an option 4, no long-term contract, 6-month suggested minimum, 70 ads per month, plan 24 is $280 a month. 4 months is 1,100, 6 months, 1,680. And then for the year is 3,360. And that's on the rock station, excuse me, yeah. So not a 26 week contract. These are some of the options that she presented us. We did have a conversation too, that if you guys wanted to essentially just say you wanted to give $4,000 towards radio ads, we could work with her to fulfill it and sort of do what we want. She would sort of make something based off of that and stay within our budget. She understands that. She works with multiple agencies that have budgets for this. So, but these are some of their deals, I guess is what I'd say, their deal packages with those other options. So
I guess just to take a quick census here. What do you guys feel about the radio stations? I don't really listen to radio anymore, as I'm not driving and that kind of stuff, but
I would think that the rock stations, you wouldn't get as much listeners interested,
So,
just because of their demographics, a much younger crowd and.
so to play devil's advocate to that, the people that probably need to learn the most about noxious weeds are the people listening to the rock station, because the people listening to the Bull and the folks listening to the Mighty Mo probably already, they know about noxious weeds. Your landowners are probably going to be listening to the, Mighty Mo. But you're right, you probably aren't going to get nearly the return on investment if you put it on the rock station.
I listen to the rock station all the time.
well, I do live in town.
You're breaking down those
Car,
stereotypes.
but
Now look at me, I'm the one guy.
because it's classic rock, it's not rock.
I was gonna say, which rock station is it? 101 or 105 or 104?
96.3 rock, sort of, I'd say.
Yeah, it's more hard. Yeah, it's a little hardcore. Okay.
But I can see both sides, I can see both. Cause we are probably gonna reach a different demographic going to the Mighty Mower or the Ball.
But you did say last year that you had people that came in and said specifically, I heard the radio ads.
Yeah. Yeah, we always do when we're at the HBIA, they say, we've heard some of your radio ads on the radio, so.
Which stations?
We did the mow, I think we used a week or a portion of our funds on the mow and the Bull during the Noxious Weed Awareness Week. So, but like I said, these options 1 through 3 are to participate in their 26-week package. We can still set up a budgetary amount to not exceed, and Jade and I can go, Alex and I can go work with them on what we can do to fulfill that, because no matter what, we like to have we have a break in service usually, you know, this is the time of year right now is when we're really trying to start and sort of work our way through and then sort of ease off during the hot months. We do still have some, but just sort of ease off on it. When it's hot and dry, we sort of talk about weed management during drought. But then September is when we pick back up to try to encourage people for fall application.
And those can be, if we just do a budgetary amount, she'll work with us too on all of the radio stations, so.
Yeah. So we could use the mow for 1 week. You could use the bowl for another week. It's just, obviously you'd be paying whatever you're paying per the week. Cause that still sort of works in that regard, but,
So she could customize it to where we could actually maybe hit even like Z101 plus.
oh yeah, all those, yeah, they have a whole, I think Jade had, you have, I don't have it. Anyways, yeah, I mean, they have all kinds
I
of,
wouldn't think it'd be that critical. I was thinking more for weed education week
yeah,
type things. You know,
yeah, and you guys can just set aside some money to just do that week if you really wanted. We don't have to do it. all
I think
year,
it's,
but-
I think it's critical that we get as much out there as we possibly can. It's a little alarming that we're paying 7,500 or $8,000 for 26 weeks, so. To me anyway, but. Anybody else?
I just brainstorming, we could, look at this year and if we think we're getting a payback on this amount, or else we look for a different way to target the audience. So I mean, I was just thinking of like billboards or something to constantly put it in people's mind, but I'm in Augusta, so I don't even get the reception from the Helena station a lot of
Yeah.
times.
So how does that, do they give you a end of the year synopsis of how many times it ran, during what time, how many people they think are listening?
Yeah, I think we get that in our
Alright.
invoice. They
Okay.
sort of said when they did those.
It'd be nice to know. I
Yeah.
mean, that way we could look and,
We
Good
can
to
start
help.
sending that up.
If I may
Sure.
share, there's all kinds of stuff. We just sort of went with the radio ads. They have. It's sort of scary, and I guess I don't mean to go on this, but like, they can set up areas like where if you walk into the Sportsman. Like you go into the Sportsman Center to do some stuff and like you go home and you get on Facebook or Instagram, like it actually like pops up those ads on your phone when you do that stuff. I know that sounds scary, but they do have that ability to do some of those things. They just create little geo fences around certain areas. So if you go through there, and you're on your phone, it'll actually, next time you open Facebook, it'll pop up as like Lewis and Clark County Noxious Weed District. Top 5 weeds, or however you want to set that up. But like, as soon as somebody, you only get, let's say you only get 100 participants. So like if it pops up and they don't click on it, it doesn't count. But if they click on it and watch 15 seconds of the 30-second ad, then that counts as 1 out of the 100. So then you're down to 99. You sure see what I mean? Like it's sort of one of those. So some of those
What
things.
happens if you share that?
I guess I don't understand your question.
If you click on it and then you share it to another,
I don't think it works that way. It's just like, it would just be like, it's essentially a billboard
Like a banner
on
ad.
your
On your
phone is
phone.
essentially
I
is
see,
what
I
it
see.
is really what they're doing. You went through that area. You pinged your phone was there.
Yeah.
So next time you open it and you're scrolling through
They'll ping your
YouTube
phone in your
videos
house.
or TikTok or whatever, it'll actually post up on one of those, whatever way that they're, whatever program, Instagram or whatever they're using to put. Anyways, I didn't mean to go down a rabbit hole there.
that's.
But there is other ways to do that besides radio ads. This radio ads has just been sort of easy and no matter what, it does get a lot of people, regardless which one you're listening to, whether it's Rock Station or Mighty Mo, you're always reaching somebody. So
And
anyways,
so, what did we use as our, budget last year? 4,000, is that what somebody said?
It was in Fund 297, so I don't,
Yeah,
I
we'd
don't
have
have
to-
that on the top of my head.
I wouldn't have it off the top of my head either.
It would have been-
I don't remember what our budget, that's a good question. I didn't have what our budget was last year for it. If I may,
Sure.
I just, if you guys do wanna do it, and I know these numbers are daunting, but I still put them on here for you guys to consider. I thought they're a little high as well. I was sort of thinking like it may be in the $3,000 or $4,000 range, just for us to sort of use when and how we wanted, and sort of allow us to use certain stations. I think, you use the bowl on some weeks, and stuff, and then like our Noxious Weed Awareness Week, you could do the bowl in the mow.
Yeah.
And sort of just go from there. That's sort of what I was thinking. It would be easier, and then that way we just don't overexpend. We don't overexpend past that budget, so. Cause it is expensive.
Yeah.
It's
Everything is,
But it's also effective.
I mean, we get a lot of people that listen to it and call us all the time.
So if we did, I'll just throw out some numbers. So if we did, go ahead, Jade, since you got that.
Yes, so last year, we did the $7,020, that 26 we got. $5,520 was authorized from 297, and then the weed district kicked in 1,500 from our general fund.
So what if we did 6,000? You work with them and come up with a customized plan.
Yeah.
To hit the high times.
Yep.
And I would do the mow, the bowl, and Z101 if you could. Not so much a lot on Z101, but like I say, during education week and,
Yeah,
so.
Okay.
To me, I mean, and then that way we could come back, get the information from them on the demographics and the people and all that kind of stuff, and take a look at it, and then relook at it next year and see if we want to do more or we want to do less, or like Mike said, maybe do, billboards or something.
yeah,
But
just to change it up.
But if she's willing to work with you to customize a plan, I think that would be the best way to go.
She's been really good to work with.
Okay.
And been very helpful. She created a pretty good radio ad the other day, so that we've been running for about a week now, so. A little away from my analytical brain to just produce information. She made it a little bit more fun and brought it in. It's about two mothers out on the hillside playing with cheatgrass. So, and sort of talks about that. So anyways, but it's good, sort of get people versus my approach, more like a MSU
Information.
extension readout, so it was good just to have a little bit and make it a little bit of fun. So it was.
Any other comments? You guys,
So what is the most fun ad out there right now? Does any,
Most fun.
yeah, the
One
most
I made.
fun ad? And I'm thinking about TV, but what is the most fun ad?
Do you have something?
Weather tech.
Weather tech.
Like weather tech ads?
Yes, I love it. Oh, it makes me just feel good.
I like that insurance one where he's blowing the leaves and the leaves goes in the car and the car wrecks the car.
Yeah.
That one's pretty fun to me.
Mayhem.
Mayhem guy. I like
Those are good.
I like the mayhem guy ones.
I do like those.
Definitely.
I like that.
So anyways, but that's sort of the route we were going a little bit, so just to,
It's good.
and explained it in a way that's everybody can understand a little bit better versus so specific, you know what I mean, being so specific. So she's been sort of fun to work with in that regards, and sort of helping me and us grow this area and side of things. So
If I can
Anybody
jump in
have a-
real quick,
Comments, questions?
Shelley does.
if I can jump in real quick. I've been talking with people about the media and how they interact with it and such, and there is a decline, obviously, in radio and television, and more people are streaming their information and whatnot. Younger people are TikTok and Instagram, and they don't look at much of anything else. And the older crowd is still the much older crowd is very much still in the traditional end of things. So and then all of those of us in 30 to 50 kind of have a broad range of stuff that we do. But that being said, the creepy version where they figure out where you've been and then send you ads and stuff is probably going to end up being more effective in terms of reaching people. So that's something to think about if we don't do it this go around, something to think about in the future. It's not something that any of us have any experience with, but it is the way things are going. So that's just my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you.
We could even still try with if you guys, regardless of the amount of money that you guys want to put towards this, we could still try a little bit in that, see how it goes. This round versus just doing specific radio ads. We could, like I said, if we sort of just create an amount and then I can work with Whitney, we could maybe do a small port $1,000 worth of the creepy version, I guess.
That won't get you much. That's a very
Yeah.
expensive media.
It is, it is a little bit expensive, but I mean, like I said, we could always just sort of see and just see if she's willing to work with us in some regard in that.
Yeah.
We
I
can
mean, it
have-
wouldn't hurt just
Yeah.
to see if we can get any.
I was intrigued in it, it was just,
Well, it is a little creepy because I can sit at home and look at an ad. And then when I go into Fox News or something, all those things pop up on my phone. The exact same thing I was looking at. So somebody's listening and watching and already, so
It's China.
I know. Conspiracy theory here, but.
yeah. Okay,
So
So did you have a second on the $6,000? Is that where we're at?
I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second it.
Okay, moved and seconded to try to customize a plan for 6,000, see where we're at.
Mhm.
And go from there, I guess. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Anything else on 297?
no, that's it. I think we have enough. We have plenty of funds that have been allocated for greenhouse and the rental trailers.
And you came under budget on the rental, right?
Yeah, I'm quite a bit under.
Good. Okay,
I'll talk about that in my report.
Okay. move into staff reports. Go ahead, Christian.
We got our weed management plan approved by BoCC. We just need to make sure we get your signature on it. We already got it. We're done. Officially official. So, I did submit the unsigned copy to, because it was approved by you and approved by the commission, so I did send a copy to the Department of Agriculture, because that was due on the 31st.
Okay.
So they got that. But we have the officially assigned ones, which is good. We had our Landers for grant presentation. Went through it and it was not funded for this round. We didn't, there was 56 applications for a little over $2 million being asked for. I believe it's a little over 1.4 million that they have to expend. So we just, it was, and within the letter, it wasn't funded due to lack of funds, and, we scored a 69.9 or something. I don't know what that totally means on their.
Out of 70?
No, no, I don't know what the tone, doesn't give you the whole. It'd been nice, I could probably count up the score, but the nice thing is I learned a lot. With doing this, I had to do an additional EA for adding a herbicide, an active ingredient, to the list for that area, so I learned how to do that. But we do have at least the scoring sheet so that I can help Ed Callahan next year, if he would like to apply for it again. We at least have the score sheet so we know what they're looking for and what they're trying to get out of it. So that should help us. I couldn't find one from the year before, so I just. Anyways, so we have some information and we'll take it and learn from it and grow from it. I think Ed has a pretty good project, to be honest with you, and he learned a lot, and they discovered a lot up there too, so. But I definitely encouraged him to have all the landowners up there fill out a 5-year management plan. They can participate in our cost share program for this year to still help them continue noxious weed work in that regard, so.
I guess I would stress that he does put in reapply next year.
I hope so. Yeah, I encouraged him to do so as well.
I did hear from a few people on a couple conference calls this week that it was pretty ugly. That they had to cut a lot of dollars out, so there was a lot of projects that didn't get funded, so. But that's the way it goes, and
Yeah,
try again.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good project. We just keep working on it and build on it, and so that way we have some good stuff to add to it. I'm more than happy to go up there and work with them in that area. It's gorgeous up there in Landersport, so.
Okay.
That's unfortunate news. Rental trailers, I sort of been working away on those. I got one totally finished. It does need to be leak tested. That's about it. And then the other two are about 98% done. I just need a decent day where I can roll out 300-foot hose and measure it and cut it and roll it. It's been a little cold the last few days to try to unroll that hose to add that to that. But other than that, those are ready to rock and roll. I'm hoping to have those 3 new ones up and rolling by next week. Next week starting to look like a decent week. Getting up above 40, 50, and even into 60s and 70s. So hopefully have those rolling for next week. Talked about the radio ads up and running on the bowl. Finished finalizing a lot of our budgets. That's been a pretty good focus and getting our last little push on those budget narratives and budget presentation to you guys. I did post the seasonal weed sprayer last week. Just try to start filling in some of those positions. I did talk about, we did get the truck ordered and it sounds like it's being built. So hopefully we get it here soon. I do not have an estimated ETA on when that'll be here, no, but it sounds like my wife was in there the other day with our vehicle inland and talked to her and said, no, my work truck should be here shortly. Oh, and then just gearing up for the season here. I mean, we're right there. I know yesterday and today doesn't feel like it, but we're there. We have just getting all of our forms updated. Just for example, or getting all of our contractor list, make sure that everybody on there is still working and doing their job, still doing their profession there, that they're licensed and insured. Put together some of our project lists that we have coming up early this spring when Alex gets in. And then, working on getting the shop and equipment ready for seasonals. And that's what I have.
Any questions? I just have, do you wanna talk a little bit about the home show?
Oh, yeah. The home show was really good. We never got any final numbers.
I
We
didn't
never
know.
got any final numbers.
Mhm.
I do know there was like 1,700 the first day.
Mhm.
And there was a couple, at least easy, couple hundred people. So I'd say roughly 2,000 people that walked through there on Saturday and Sunday. Monty and his awesome wife were there, and Judith Ann came in on Saturday. Spent almost all day with us. It was good. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't too crazy busy, but it was steady all day. It was steady all day long. So, that following week, I probably had about a dozen phone calls from people just wanting more information and working on scheduling stuff. Added a bunch of people to the biocontrol list. It works really good. It's just an pretty easy going event. And a lot of people that stop by.
Okay.
That trailer really works on, to bring them over there. They really just want to sort of see what's going on with all the colors and everything. So, yeah, I think it was another successful run at it.
Mhm. And what I really love is all the people that take the field guidebooks and they'll like look through and they're like, oh, I had these in my lawn. I thought it was a flower. And so just the awareness that it brings, or especially people who are just moving here and don't know. I'd say it's highly successful. Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Jenny?
Yeah, not a lot for you guys today. We're just gearing up between different seasons, so winter season to spring, summer. Working on finalization of our budgets to be prepared for the presentation for our fiscal year 26 request at the end of May. On all of my division budgets. And then we're just doing procurement. So we've got a lot of procurement done. And so this summer you'll see throughout the county, our annual crack sealing, chip sealing, paint projects, different miles and different road segments across the county. We do have a large project up in Augusta, Highway 435. Is going to get a complete chip seal, fog and paint this spring. Looking at the end of April, first part of May for that project. So that is a pretty large project in the backcountry. So that we're just working through those items. We've got some vacancies in staff, 2 in the road and bridge department, a couple in this building with our construction coordinators. So trying to get those positions filled. And so we're kind of scrambling with just covering other areas. We'll still get another challenge in the summer. I think we're just bringing new people on board if we're able to get those positions filled. And then just changing gears depending upon the weather that day. So yesterday was really interesting. We had about 8 road and bridge staff over in York Country with that 16 to 20 inches of snowfall. Chainsaws, graders that we had to chain up to get up the hills. Staying ahead of Northwest Energy to try to help with the power lines, getting trees across the road to get them cleared out. Luckily, it was only isolated to the York area, because if something like that in a spring weather event hit the whole county or hit Remini and Lincoln and let's say Colorado Gulch, and then that area, we would be really scrambling with resources, because we had, like I said, almost 8 people up there yesterday. So yeah, that was very interesting. Even Jackie at the landfill was talking to the city transfer station folks that were getting ready to send garbage trucks up there. And she's like, you better not send anybody up here. Nobody's going to get up Deal Road, up on the road. And they didn't believe her. They thought she was playing an April Fool's joke on them in the morning. She had to take pictures and send it to them, because it just, when you were in town, you didn't know what was going on the Canyon Ferry, York area. It was just like a wall up there as well. So just working on that. We did some grading in the valley with this weather. Now it's gonna impact that. So we were trying to get ahead of spring grading operations. So we'll end up having to go back to some repairs, but Just making progress as we can and changing with the seasons.
Okay.
So I have for you today.
Nothing.
Thanks, Chairman. I don't have a lot of new information other than what Jenny said, really focus on budgets right now. We have our division budget, obviously, but we also, within special districts, have to come up with a project budget for all of those individual rural improvement districts that we have, and so that goes to the commission as well, so that's a pretty big lift. Procurement, as Jenny also said, the way that we do our work primarily in special districts is we send out requests for proposals and we put together rosters for each of the individual types of work that need to be done in these districts. So our grading contractors get put onto a roster, same with our asphalt patching and concrete work, drainage work and so forth. So we have 2 of those that are up right now. One is advertised and one is underway. And then also additionally with the crack sealing, the chip sealing and the overlays, we generally combine with the county road department on those for the special districts. Jenny mentioned hiring as well. We had somebody hired for Jesse Whitford's position, who's one of our construction coordinators that split his time between the road and then also special districts. And that position fell through. That gentleman took a different position and withdrew his acceptance. And so then with the RID construction coordinator, so this is Caleb's position that focuses primarily on those rural improvement districts. That position has been hired and that person is scheduled to start May 1st. So that should help us out substantially to start filling those roles, especially before summer. So that's where we're at right now.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Commissioner.
Just working through the budgets, and
One time.
promise not to raise your property taxes over 20%.
Oh, thanks, that'd be great. I'm not, you're gonna have to twist your arm even a little harder now.
Yeah. No, we're trying to keep it pretty cautious and no, not a lot of increases. I think we heard pretty loud and clear that the people don't want their taxes to go up, so we're working very hard at that. And it looks like maybe the legislature is getting to the point where going forward, they might give us a little relief, so
That'd be good.
we're hoping for that.
Good. Okay, any questions for anybody? Okay, thank you, guys. Board member reports. Rob, go ahead.
Good moisture. It's been warm and then it snowed and I'm sure the weeds will be rearing their ugly heads in the future. That's about it.
Thank you. Judith, Al.
I think I sent everybody what I was gonna talk about, which was the home show, which I think went very well. This weekend is the Master Gardener Symposium at Carroll, and I'm gonna do that along with Monty on Saturday from 8 to 3. We'll see how that goes. The Montana Youth Experience is the 19th of April, and that's at the fairgrounds. And that, if it goes as good as it went last year, their first one, it'll be great. I think we had 45 vendors, if I remember correctly, and there was like 850 people with kids that went through there, and it's based around the kids. So anyway, that'll be that in April, and then Noxious Weed Awareness Week is the first week of June. And so I talked with Stacy. Well, I really haven't talked with Stacy, but we've kind of touched base, and Kevin from the BLM. So I'm working on that. And then I met a guy at the home show who was from the Montana Conservation Board. And they were staying in the Lost Horse Creek cabin, which is a Forest Service cabin up by me. And so I just asked him, I saw the sweatshirt, I'd seen the trucks, and I saw he had a shirt on that said Conservation Corps, so I just happened to ask him if he was in the neighborhood. But he was up there with a team of 16 people, doing some training. And so we got into this conversation, I wondered what he was doing, yada, yada, yada. And so I have reached out to him, his name is Adam Hines. And there's a possibility that he will work with us on our noxious weed awareness spray days, which I've set for June 5th. And so there'll be news coming about that as we get down. Also, the Center for Warriors Foundation has said that they will come and help. So there should be a lot of people that will work that first weekend in June to do spraying up at our neck of the woods. So Stacy, do you have anything that you can share?
No, not really. I think you've covered it.
Okay, and Kevin, do you have anything that you want to share? I didn't realize you were still on.
No, not at the moment. I did get your email and I'll talk with Tate and we'll try and see who we can get from the office to come up for those days.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So, and then the next thing is the Lincoln rodeo and parade, and we talked about doing something with the knapweed at the rodeo grounds and trying to do something there. I don't know if the board can write a letter, you can write a letter, Christian. I don't know what we want to do to encourage them to do something about that rodeo grounds in the parking lot. The hillside, they cut the hillside down, and then you're sitting on those 6-inch knapweed sticks. And I think if we could encourage them to do something to help them, have a spray day early in June, May, end of May, first part.
Probably June if you're in
June.
Lincoln.
Huh?
June if you're in Lincoln.
It's slow over there.
To see if we can just, I mean, at that point, the majority of it being rosette stage as far as that.
I would say it's at least 3 or 4 weeks behind everything else in Lincoln. Everything's just
Well,
slow,
and
just
maybe they
slower.
can't. I don't know. I think there has to be a different way to do that than.
When's Alex come on board
14th.
of this month? Have him write a letter. Okay, I'll sign it.
I mean, there's the whole parking lot, the whole side of the hills, the hillside in front of those grandstands. And I just can't comprehend why they can't get a handle on that. And it would,
It's a knapweed?
yeah,
That'd be so easy to
Yeah.
and
spray.
that's
too.
what I keep.
Especially the parking lot. I mean, you could do that in half an hour.
Do
I
we
guess
need
in
to
the
get them
letter-
on a cost share or a 5-year plan to help
Well,
them cost share? Or
I don't
Part of the letter.
exactly know what to do. I mean, I'm just putting it out there because I would think that the rodeo club would have some money and that they would have enough volunteers where we could work together to get that under control, or at least start to get it under control.
I guess that's what I would tell Alex to put in the letter, or you could sign it, or you can put it in, but tell them that we're in it for wanting them to do something with their property. If they need to do, tell them that we could help with spray days, or we could do something, but there needs to be something done with that.
Okay.
And then see where that goes.
Okay, I'll reach out to the rodeo club or the
Okay.
fairgrounds or the rodeo grounds people.
Yeah, I mean, that's not only ugly, but they're also causing spread of those weeds. So to me, that's a huge issue.
Especially with horses and stuff there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put that on my list, Mr. Chair.
Well, it's the horses, the cows, the livestock, the whole thing. And then this is the last year for the blast of the past car show. They're not gonna do the car show anymore. And so I was thinking maybe we could have a booth there if this year. So, just, it's in that, it's the 29th or the last weekend in June is the car show. The other thing was, the old Silver City Bar, Old Salts Processing purchased that. And I'm not exactly sure what's going in there, but it's said to be a processing center. I don't know what a processing.
Meat processing center. It's gonna be a
Right.
butcher shop, but it's not gonna be public. In my
So
understanding,
are they it's gonna be a kill
Yep.
center?
they're working with environmental right now on what the septic permit would need to be for blood waste and waste processing for that facility.
Okay.
That's where they're gonna, Old Salt's gonna process it for their location here for Burning Earnings is. They
Mhm.
sell
Right.
meat materials, stuff there, so it's.
So
gonna be
they
their
keep their
processing
place,
plant.
they keep their place over on Bozeman, like where they're processing right now in the.
That I don't
industrial
know. I
park?
just know that they're working on that other slaughter location and processing.
So anyway, that's kind of exciting. And I picked up the banners, so those are our retractable banners, the two of them. Right there. And the other one's in
Nice.
Christian's doorway. And then I also picked up the tablecloths for our 8-foot tables. So we'll have those for the next event we do. And then I'm still hard at work with the Nevada Mountain Lincoln Prosperity Project and trying to figure out what to do about that. And how we're gonna negotiate that. Karen called me this morning and she wants to set up a meeting in Canyon Creek and so that Wild Montana and the I have a metal block for the other one. Anyway, but there's no place in Canyon Creek for us to meet. You can't meet at the school and you can't meet at the fire department. So I don't know what she's gonna do, but I said I'm willing to have it at my house again. But she wants to do that in May. So that's kind of that. So that's the update there.
Okay, thank you.
Oh.
Any questions for Future Sound? Okay, Mike.
I was just informed, in the Augusta area, the Ford Creek Weed Spray Day is June 5th. So it kind
That's
of
my-
coincides
yeah.
with weed awareness too. That's
Yeah.
kind of great. And I didn't know, I like what you said about getting the awareness out there with people with weeds. So I didn't know if in your, logistics about spraying, if the spray truck could be doing the public roads going up toward Benchmark. The Ford Creek is up Benchmark Road past private property. And then we meet there and usually the Forest Service has all the chemicals and you fill up your backpack or your sprayer and you go out and spray and meet there for lunch. And just spend sometime in the afternoon, but I'm not sure when the Sun Canyon is, but
I think we have all those dates. I didn't bring them at this meeting. I could bring all of our spray days for the next meeting, just to let everybody know what we got going on.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
like what Rob said, it's pretty brown out there, and then all of a sudden with the snow and the warm up, boy, things just turn green. You can see it coming, boy.
Not gonna take long.
All right, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Walter,
Put together a summary of Japanese U. I tried to keep my sources to Forest Service and USDA reports and tried to stay away from a lot of the news reports. Surprised to find out that it was listed as an invasive species in Virginia. It has spread from the East Coast to Kentucky, Indiana naturally, so it's in the native habitat. It's not just in landscape areas now, so it can spread. Surprised to find out that there was a report that I couldn't substantiate where their kids actually died from playing with Japanese U. So if the summary here that I wrote is to actually go to the Master Gardener booth that we have this coming weekend and pass it out to them. But my question to you guys is, how far do we want to push this? Do we want this on the Montana invasive species or toxic species list? Do we want to ban it in the county? Do we just want to talk to the growers or the landscape suppliers and try to get them to voluntarily not sell it? You know, what kind of enforcement or what kind of pressure do we have? There's a county in Idaho that made it a misdemeanor to have one of these on your property. And it's got a $600 fine per plant.
Wow.
So it's, you know, it's a small hit, but it can keep adding up. So open it up for discussion, see what you guys want to have to say.
any discussion? I guess I would. There's a process that the ag has, so you're gonna have to look into that. I don't know if it's changed or not.
To get a new plant.
Yeah.
listed.
But I know they have a form that you gotta fill out and go through all that, so if you could look that up and bring it to the next
I'll
meeting.
work with,
Josh,
and Josh sent me the other guy, that's the toxic species or
Okay.
ornamental.
I guess from my standpoint, I think if we can get it on the noxious weed list from the state, it's the best way to go. If they decide they're not gonna do it, then we can put it on as a county listed weed, so. But let's try to go through the state first, see what they got. Fill out that. Where to make conflicts before it comes.
My comment would be that it's always easier to stop it from getting here than it is to stop it spreading once it is here. So as much as we can do on the front side, the better.
I agree, and then if it does get listed from the state, then it's automatically landscape people cannot sell it. So I think that's the best way to go. And see if we can do that, but get their request form and we'll fill it out. Get it sent into them.
Chairman, I do think you guys need to add that as a discussion item to this meeting minutes in case you have public that comes to talk about that, and then you guys would make that as an action item to vote. If that's direction of the board that you're gonna wanna take. So
Okay.
since Monty just raised it, did a nice briefing memo, open the floor up for discussion. Do you guys wanna add that formally to an action item or a discussion item for future meetings? I think that would be that way it's
Yeah, I
publicly
think we
noticed as
can-
well.
I think if we can get the form, you get us the form so we can fill it out, or you fill it out
Okay.
and put it on next week's or next
Month's
month's
meeting.
meeting.
As an action item.
Right.
Review the form and then agree to the form
Yeah.
as a board, and perfect.
Perfect, yeah. That'll work out good.
Good.
It's gonna take a while. I don't know when they're gonna meet or what their schedule is for meeting, but at least if we get that request into them, then they can look at it and tell us what they're gonna do, and we'll go that route. Okay. Okay,
I think the Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks is aware of it too, and if we could write them and ask them to try to get the education out there to the growers.
yeah, it wouldn't hurt
Uh,
for sure.
Don't look what it's doing.
Yeah, cause I'm pretty positive that when ag they have a committee that looks at all that, and all the federal agencies and the state agencies are all included in that group, so. Everybody will have a chance to look at that and review, but I do think that if we can get some extra wordage out there about it, get people to acknowledge it, that it might be fair, about becoming, that would just be a plus, so.
Yeah.
We could start a petition that people could sign at the symposium.
Oh, with,
Master Gardener.
Just to, you know, let people know and they know that this is, and, you know, whatever.
but it's such a pretty plant. It
I
looks so
know.
good in my yard.
But that, I mean, just to get some awareness out to
Yeah.
people.
I
At least
think-
you could tell them what we're planning on doing, and if they want to come to the next meeting, they're more than welcome to come.
Yeah, if they have anything they want to
Voice their
say.
decision, or
Yeah.
discussion.
How many of these do we need to hand out at that?
Well, I
symposium?
think, I don't know exactly, I think last year there was 92 people at the symposium,
So if we had 50, that's probably enough.
probably,
Okay.
so.
Okay, Pete,
Well, I don't really have a report, but I guess I'm up for discussion next.
yeah, go ahead.
All right. So that all stemmed from, came home one day and I see a bucket truck parked on my property. Working on the lines, it's Northwest Energy last year, and it was a windy day. They could have easily accessed it off the gravel road, but they didn't want to because of the wind, so they drove on my place through an area where I have spent the last, I don't know, 8 years doing native grasses and forbs and big sagebrush, trying to get that back, and they just obliterated it. I mean, so I went to their guy and I said, where's your weed management plan? You know, where's your stormwater plan? Where's your wash in, wash out policy? All this stuff. And the guy just, you know, deer in the headlights look. He's like, we don't have any of that shit. So contacted Northwest Energy. They gave me the runaround for about 6 months. And then they finally got back to us recently and said, would you like to file a claim? So I just wanted to know, like, what am I trying to say? Thought sounded too angry. Why is it that Northwest Energy doesn't have any wash in, wash out policies for their projects where they're driving bucket trucks through huge stands of white top and spotted knapweed? They're driving off that, and then they're driving on my place. And my place is weed free. I'm pretty proud of that. And you know, every time I try to contact somebody, they just give me the runaround and then I hit a dead end. So that was one item I wanted to discuss. The other item is I'm seeing a lot of fiber optic going in rural areas, you know. Triangle, they're a company that I work with in my professional life, doing some stormwater plans for them and also some just some wildlife checklist stuff. And you know, you go out there and they cut a trench, and sure, it's narrow, but they're cutting trenches through established stands of noxious weeds. And they're not doing anything to remediate it afterwards. They're just, you know, it's disturbed soil sitting there wide open. And I don't know, I just kind of wanted to get that out on the table and
So I'm with you.
turn Judith Ann loose
because-
on them.
So when they put our fiber optic in.
Yeah.
They did exactly that. And of course, I thought, well, we're getting fiber optic. Ask them if they cleaned their machines. If they had the wash in, wash out.
Yeah.
They don't have the wash in, wash out.
They don't know what that means. The
So-
guys running the ditch witch have no clue what that
No,
means.
that's very true.
Yeah.
So the following year, where I've been pretty weed free on South Fork and something else they brought into the neighborhood was foxtail. We never had any foxtail on Prickly Pear Road.
Right.
Never, none on Lost Horse. Now, Lost Horse, I've got it pretty much done, but it's been a 4-year project.
Sure.
And every time I go down the road, I pull a plant. I'm like this. I know exactly where every plant is and it goes in a container and I do it, but the the mullein, the hound's tongue, the knapweed, the cocklebur, hensbane, the black hensbane. Every one of those is up Prickly Pear Road. Now, we had the hound's tongue and the cocklebur and the knapweed and the whatever, but we never had the foxtail, which is not on the list, but you get that foxtail started and it's terrible.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. And they don't care.
Yeah.
They're out of here.
Some more, I was just wondering, 'cause I should know, because I've worked on this in my professional life, but are these utility companies beholden to the same rules as anybody else who's disturbing ground? Or are they just kind of get
They're supposed to be.
carte blanche to do whatever they want?
No,
Them driving over 50-year-old sage bush plants is what really pissed me off.
the person that has, the company that has the easement is supposed to be held to the same standards as any personal person or anything. Problem is that when they have an easement going through somebody's property and then they want to run a fiber optic through there, the people that are supposed to be in charge of that is the people that did the first easement. They don't have to have another easement. They use their easement to go through there. So that's why a lot of them don't know
Sure.
A from B.
Yeah.
And that's one of the huge issues with the whole process. If somebody's coming in to cut up dirt, I don't care, to disturb dirt, I don't care what it is, they should be held to the same standard as everybody else. And that's, unfortunately, it doesn't really ever happen, and
Yeah.
I know that Christian's had some go around with some of the utility companies that do have the easements. But then they say, well, it's really not us that did that. Well, doesn't matter. You have the easement. You
Right.
are responsible for it. And unless they have a management plan on file, there's not much else we can do other than to go back and make them do a management plan.
Sure. I don't know much about the Northwest Energy driving their bucket trucks.
That was one of their contract
Yeah,
cases.
oh, okay, but I don't know much about that, but like for like the lead core, some of this TDS
Mhm.
Spectrum, they have, what are those enterprise agreements?
Franchise.
Agreements, and within there, they are supposed to work on putting it back to the state it was before. Now, obviously, if they can't just magically make grass grow in their ditches, but they're supposed to put it all back and actually go out there and reseed it. That's what I mean, putting it back. I know, and that's something that we sort of worked on, but those are in their franchise agreements that they sign with the county to do that, so. We do try our best to hold them to make sure they're not leaving messes everywhere.
Sure.
We just went up on one yesterday, so. Me and Dan were up in an area and went and checked to see how it was coming along, but within that franchise agreement, it does state that. They're supposed to return it to the state it was before they ran their trench and their stuff through.
Sure.
Which is in the benefit of, MDT, us,
Yeah.
and all of us, that's why that's there, is to not put more of a burden on other entities or other landowners. They're supposed to help put that back the way it was before.
Sure.
Which I know is not an easy thing when they run a trencher through old prairie ground that, it is, yeah,
Have
so,
been broken.
yeah, so,
It's not just the width of the trench though.
I know,
It's the fact that the
The full vehicle.
machinery
I know.
is,
So, but that's just what I know. I don't think there's anything in the franchise agreement about washing it before they move it from one site to the other, but.
But there are lots
I
of books about not spreading noxious weeds.
I know, yeah, and it is in the state code too. If you go
Right.
look up the weed code, like.
Yeah.
It mentions utility companies more than once within their stuff to make sure that they're not being a vector of it, cause there are. they are one of the larger vectors of spread noxious weeds
Sure.
throughout anywhere is utility companies when they do these projects.
Has anybody signed up for the new fiber optic?
Well,
I
we
can
tried to
guarantee
sign
you-
up. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We tried to sign up at the home show and we were told even though the fiber is in front of our house, it'll be at least 2 years before we can hook our house up. But the straight downhill from us is gonna be open in another couple months. So,
Well, I've been trying to find somebody that signed up and is using it. After all this digging they've been around here, and I haven't found it.
we're what, I think 18 months since they first started trenching in front of our house. And we're now have the second company putting a trench in, but nobody in the neighborhood is hooked up.
I can tell you from talking to people all over the valley that it has been a nightmare. They have driven Leadcore and anybody else. They have driven all over people's properties. They have left big ruts. They have made a mess of things. They have just walked away. They've left stuff open for weeks and months on end. It has been disastrous, and nobody knows what's going on because I mean they'll just drive up to my place, for instance, park wherever they want, which is always in my yard, and then I go out there and yell at them and they're mad at me for yelling at them, and I'm like, you're on private property. This is not a right of way, and you don't have the right to be here, and you could have come and knocked and we would have happily told you where to park. It's been like that at everybody that I've talked to has had that same experience with them. And I've explained to them that part of the reason I don't want them on the ground is because of weeds and because, you know, they're coming from one place to another, and they look at me like I'm some two-headed witch. I don't, you know, and it's like, well, regardless, get off my property. But that to me, I agree with you. It is one of the most frustrating things because there's no one holding these guys accountable.
Right.
There's no way that this giant contract got let without, because it's infrastructure money. There's no way it got let where they said, and you can just abuse private property and you can just ignore state law and you can just do whatever the hell you want to. That is not the way those things are written. And so I'm very frustrated with the way that has happened. So it's universal. Everyone I've talked to has said the exact same thing about them. So
I guess that's good to know. That's not it.
I don't know if it's good to know, but it's the facts and we all have to know them. So
And I are gonna send them an invoice for the vegetation damage. And I'm gonna be giving them my elevated consultant rate, so.
Oh, I'll come with you.
Yeah, come
I
on
got a
up.
consultant.
I need a
Yeah.
subcontractor.
Yeah, I'm $2,000 an hour.
Perfect. Perfect.
So last year and I'm sure they did this everywhere. But they did this whole thing where Northwest Energy came through, and if you had any trees or any brush or anything that was around the power lines, they cut that all down. Well, they had those trucks everywhere, up on private property, on BLM, on Forest Service, on county roads, but everywhere. So I am waiting till this spring to see exactly what the weed situation is gonna be from everywhere that they have been. And they've gone everywhere
I
the
bet I
power.
can guess.
Hmm?
I bet I can guess what's gonna happen.
Oh, I bet I can guess too.
So. Just trying to think, maybe we should. Put this as an action item for next month. Would you contact Northwest Energy? And see if they can have somebody come to our board meeting?
One
Okay.
thing we could do, sorry, Mr. Chair, Dan Carlin, our county engineer, attends a utility meeting every Friday where all the utility groups are represented. Northwestern is there, the fiber companies are there. We've had several issues, not weed related, damage related, where they're trenching, where they said they were gonna be boring. They just went through a storm drain in Jade's neighborhood this week, so we're working on that. Anyway, point being, I could talk to Dan and see if they could potentially have a representative come, you know, if he could
That'd be great.
drum that up
Yeah.
in that regard from a utility perspective from the county, if that would be helpful.
Yeah, I guess if he could say that the county weed board is discussing these issues and would like to have some kind of a resolve to
Yeah.
at least talk to somebody at one of our meetings to see where they actually stand, because they're all breaking the weed law.
Okay,
And that needs to, I mean, they need to be held to the same accountability as everybody else. I agree, I mean, TDS is. They put in all the boxes in my neighborhood, in my subdivision. They put one right by my garbage can, which is fine, except when I plow snow. And then they burrowed underneath the road and put one on the other side of the road where there's 3 lots that connect right there. And none of those places are ever gonna get cable TV from that box.
right.
And I told the guys twice, I says, you know, you guys are, there's nobody living here, you're not gonna be able to do anything, but you'd have to talk to the engineer. I said, well, you tell the engineer to come out and let me talk to him, because this is stupid. And I plow all my snow over in that area, so I've ripped their box out. I mean, it just, the way it is. They left it up this high.
Allegedly.
No, they had left it up this high because my snow plow was pretty much on the ground and it just.
I'm saying allegedly you hit their box.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know how it got destroyed.
Accidentally.
Mr. Chair, I'll talk to Dan and
Okay.
see if we could get some,
That'd be the best. way to
something
go,
from
so.
them on Friday's meeting.
Yeah.
And I'll follow up.
And if they need to, then at their next meeting, we could come and, I mean, Christian and I can come in and talk to them.
Yeah.
If that's acceptable to you guys.
Definitely.
I mean, it's
The
not
other,
gonna-
the other thing that I would throw out is that I live next to BLM ground and they came out here with a bulldozer to flatten ground near the power lines in order to replace transformers and things like that. Now, this power line's been here for 100 years and they've never had to do it before, but they did it this time and they have drug weeds all over the place
Thank you.
and they didn't reseed. There's been, so it's just coming back and it's coming back in cheatgrass and white top and knapweed and Dalmatian toadflax and leafy spurge. So that's fun.
Yeah.
Sarcastic for the notes. That's just something that, you know, it's just another place and I'm happy to talk to them about that if they want to, or if you need me to.
Appreciate that.
One last thing to kind of add to this whole discussion. Sorry, I was kind of looking through some notes I had, but last fall I attended the NASMA conference and they had a vegetation management specialist from Northwestern Energy, and his name was Scott Bernhardt. That might be somebody that we would want to try and reach out to.
Great.
I've called him a few times. He's not.
No way.
very
Okay, I
responsive.
wasn't sure if you got him. I remembered seeing his talk, so I looked through the book they had on that. So
Thanks for that info, though.
Just a thought, you know, we're getting calls at the commission office every other day about people with the same thing. And, while they do have the right to go into these areas that have a utility easement,
Right.
there's gotta be some responsibility for what they do. This may be a place, if we work it right, where we can pick up some money from them to fund a bunch of this stuff to make it right. So I think we ought to keep it in the back of our mind that,
Okay.
as the weed board and
Sure.
as the county, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm talking in the wind too, but.
No, because if the weed district has to go out and spray these ditches,
Right.
Yeah,
where they've spread it from the roundabout, all the way up to Prairie along Green Meadow,
yeah.
that's
well,
not, that they
It's
need
it's
for
one of these
chemicals.
things they were in such a hurry to do.
Right.
And some guy behind the desk made decisions on, we're gonna do this and this and this and this and this, and they looked at the roadmap
Right.
and did it, and instead of,
Exactly.
taking the time to do it right,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and I think too, if there is bare ground there, then we could go out and even do reseeding, hydro seeding on those things, because that's gonna save. I mean, you disturb ground, you know what's coming in. I mean, it's just a given.
Yeah.
And if we can stop that before it starts, I think that would be a perfect way to do that, though.
Perfect use of that hydro seeder. we
Yeah,
have.
exactly.
And
And it's
I'll take some time and get a hold of our legal department and see if there's any kind of recourse we can get it where we might be able to force them to help us.
that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Anything else, Pete?
No,
Okay,
That was
thank
plenty.
you. Shelley? You have anything?
Shelley?
Shelley?
I'm sorry, I had you guys on mute because I'm doing some other things. I apologize. No, I don't have anything else. That pretty much, the lead core thing was something that has been weighing on me as well. Lead core, Northwest Energy, so I appreciate that being brought up already, so. And I don't know if we've been talking about Northwest, but lead core as well. I mean, all of this needs to be held to account, so.
And most of those utility companies kind of go to that meeting. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, they do. And also I think, I was just at a road conference last week, so it was road related, but this comes up, right? So it's not just, Lewis and Clark County, this is statewide.
Yeah.
And I wonder, are there other weed districts in this state that have had any luck with
I don't know if
any
they-
kind of recourse
they
or,
Had any luck with any of them.
okay,
I know they all have problems with them.
right,
But
if they've had any strategy that has been successful, I'm not sure.
and it is,
It makes it hard because they don't own the ground, so you can't.
Right.
Like, like when you're trying to put someone in non-compliance, it's attached to the property and they don't own the property.
right.
You,
Yeah.
I don't know, we're just, it's, the utility companies is a very interesting area.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
want everybody to have power and internet, and I get that, quality of life thing, but yeah, it's been pretty, as a person that drives around all over the county, they're everywhere and you.
it's scary how fast they just were everywhere all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
So it's, yeah, I mean, a lot
Feels a little
of
warm stuff
disturbed,
sticking out all
lot
over
of
the place.
disturbed ground that we'll have this year for us as county and weed sprayers for sure, and in our right of ways. Yeah.
But here's the problem. Not all of those right of ways. I don't know. So, I mean, just coming down Lincoln Road, they're up on the top of the hill. Well, the county doesn't, you're not spraying up on top of the
No,
hill.
but it's still a utility,
It's, I mean, I don't know
yeah.
where exactly and how they figure out what the easement is, but it's not just down the bottom.
I know.
It's, they're going everywhere.
Right.
So.
Okay,
We'll proceed.
Stacy, you have anything?
No, I don't have anything to report. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I'll just combine these last two maybe a little bit. My report with the legislative discussion. So I found out that House Senate Bill 167 came out of the Senate, but they made an amendment to it. And I can't remember what the amendment was right now. It was nothing that big. Went to the House side. The House made an amendment, which is really blows my mind that they did this, but so they took out of the $10 million that was earmarked for weeds, they took 6 million of that, or 4 million of it to give to somebody else. So right now it stands that we would get 6 million going back to the trust fund with the original 10 million that's there. And supposedly they had put a restriction on the interest. So 25% of the interest from this new $6 million would go back into the permanent trust to build the trust fund, which they cannot do that as far as I know, because that's a constitutional amendment to change that trust fund. And I can't believe that a lawyer wouldn't, sitting at the table for either the House or the Senate, wouldn't have figured that out.
Right.
But, so I went into third reading today, I think, so I'm sure it's passed. So it'll have to go back to the Senate side because of the amendment. But we had a discussion yesterday, policy meeting group with MWCA. And to be honest with you, I don't know if we really want to support the bill anymore, because if they hold 25% of that money back, that means there's going to be less money going back to for the grants program. So they're even talking out of the $10 million, that 400,000 that we get now, they're wanting to take 100,000 of that and put it back into the trust fund to build a trust, but it can't be built over $10 million. I mean, it can, but it's not protected. And the legislature can come in with a simple majority vote and take that money.
Well,
So, but it has to be used for weed control, but still, that's not the intent of the Noxious Weed Trust Fund. That trust fund was there to bring all that interest back to the Department of Ag to be used for grants. So to me, they're gonna end up losing, even with that $6 million, they may gain like $150,000 after everything's been said and done, but more money being just sitting there in an empty pot that nobody can touch because its interest is coming off of that money. And that doesn't make sense to me. So Amy Adler and the vice president and the president of the MWCA are contacting Jeff Wellborn to see what his ruling is going to be, or what he thinks about that, because he's the one that's sponsoring the bill. But if it goes back to the Senate, which it has to, because of the amendment, they may not, it may die just because it's ridiculous. And it's in the governor's budget that $10 million be set aside for noxious weed control. So I don't know how that all works out with that, but it just blows my mind that there isn't an attorney up there that would have figured that one out. And to go back in and make that money inviolate, it has to go through the vote of the people. And then it has to be put into the next session as a bill to make it inviolate, or to be the 3/4 vote. So to me, it was a good idea to begin with, but to me, it's blowing way out of proportion now, so. And if they give $4 million to somebody else, and we get 6, so we're even gonna get less money. And the whole point of this thing was to get more money to come back to the counties and the reservations. So if you take $2,500 for each county and reservation, that's another $160,000 that's gonna come right off the top to go back to them. So there may be $50,000 that goes back to grants. And that's not the intent of any of this. And like Christian said, at this last meeting, they were $100 and some $1,000 short already. It's not gonna help that cause. So it's not gonna get more money out on the ground where it needs to go. It's gonna be tied up in interest.
They were almost $1 million short in asking funds.
Right. So I don't know what's gonna happen, but we'll see when it goes back. We'll see what Amy and Pam find out from Wellborn, and we'll go that route, I guess. But to me, it just was a terrible idea, whatever the House did.
Have you talked to any of the ag guys on from around here that are in the legislature?
No, I haven't. I was leaving that up to the MWCA just because I don't, even though I'm associated with the MWCA, I'm not on that committee as somebody that can go and talk to people about that. And
I would have thought that, Zach right up here and which, Gillespie, who has the Senate district that goes from Lincoln Road clear to the Canadian border.
yeah,
They'd be pretty good staunch
yeah, and
advocates.
Pam was gonna talk to Gillespie about that.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't know where it'll end up. I guess if they get 6 million, then better than nothing, but to me, it's taking money away from the original intent to go back to the counties and to go back to people that need it on the ground. So to me, it's a waste of time and effort, but because they only made $363,000, and I say only, but I mean, it's a lot of money, but off of $10 million, it's not that good of a return as far as I'm concerned.
As of what dates were involved?
That was last year.
Yeah, now the rates should be up a lot better this year.
Well, and when the state, when there's a trust fund built and hits $10 million, then they take that money and they invest it differently than what it does if it's not $10 million. There was times in the department when we had 4.76 million sitting there and we made $600,000 of interest. And now on $10 million, we can't even get up to 400,000. It's just ridiculous. It's kind of crazy, but. So I'll let you guys know how that turns out. Hopefully they'll be done in 10 days, 20 days. Get them out of town.
It seems like there's a lot of craziness going on up
It
there.
is, yeah.
I look at that stuff and I go, I mean, well, it doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm not the sharpest tack in the shed either, but.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. And I think going into the next session, I think we need to have more conversations with you guys. Because to me, and I talked to both Jessica and Jenny about it, but to me as chairman of the weed board, I think it's imperative to go up there and to represent the weed district at local hearings like that, because to me, they're looking for on the ground people to say what works and what doesn't work. And I think if we can get some kind of communication line between the chairman and it doesn't even have to be me, but I mean, when I'm gone, the chairman and the board of county commissioners, when there's a legislative session, that we can, have a quick phone call and I can tell you what's going on and see if there's a way that I can go up and testify as board chair. So to me, it's really important to do that. It's makes a difference, I think.
Yeah, and we're close enough. We can get there. If we need to.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because even that first hearing we had like 2 days notice that it was gonna be on. And with nobody talking to any of the weed districts or anything else, it was just kind of crazy, but.
Do we need to get our local representative to one of our meetings to?
I think we
talk
should,
about
I think
legislation
we should
issues?
before the next sessions. I think we should get the senator and the representative here, or representatives and the senator. And say, this is what we hear is coming down. Maybe, this is where we stand on these issues, and that might help out a bunch. But I think that's a good idea, and we should have done it this year, but it wasn't on the ball, so.
So, Mr. Chair, when we did have that conversation, the protocol that we have for the county is that, because the weed board is appointed by the Board of County Commissioners, the county commission, those are the people that can allow, somebody to go, or generally the county commission are the ones that go up to testify directly.
And I would you know, I would wholeheartedly support that too. If you guys, you know, if I could get a commissioner up there, I'd go up there just for informational and to help you guys with that. Because I think the weed issues they're kind of all over the board because nobody really understands noxious weeds.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get something through their heads that if they're not used to it.
Yeah.
So,
And as it stands now, you know, Commissioner Ralph being part of this board would be that
Yeah.
person to do that
that'd be great.
under, you know, current policy.
A commissioner can go up and testify and not be part of a lobbying group. But if people from the county try to represent the county that are not the commissioners,
Elected official,
then you
yeah.
become part of a lobbying group that gets funded. I mean, you have to disclose all of the money you've spent, phone calls you made and all that sort of thing.
Well, and I think too, as a volunteer, Mr. Chair and Commissioner Ralph, I think as a voluntary board, some of that doesn't necessarily apply as a lobbyist or something to that effect. But we
Right.
do still have the county policy
Right.
as a commission appointed
Yeah.
volunteer board.
No, I think that'd be good, because I went up, I didn't represent myself as the chairman of the county weed board. But my history is pretty extensive in the whole thing, because I've been around since it started, the trust fund anyway. And, I was able to go off of my past work history, Department of Ag stuff, and saying that I was on the county weed board, but I wasn't representing the county weed board.
Yeah, and that, you can go up and speak as an individual anytime you want to.
And that's what I did, so.
Yeah.
But, so we may have to go back up there within the next week or two if the Senate hears it again, which I'm sure they have to, so. Because of the amendments. But I'll let you guys know how it comes out. Okay, the next meeting, May 7th. I like the idea of looking at the shop and the greenhouse. Maybe if we can, with Jessica's help, we can get somebody from power companies or utility companies, somebody on board, what we're trying to do. And if you can get that request form
For MDA,
from ag,
yep, on the weed list.
we'll fill it out and see where it goes. Good. Anybody else have anything? Okay, need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We're adjourned.
Thanks for what you're doing.
So you were going back to native species?